If you know how to use eBay right, it's a beast of a tool. Like, I list items so much faster on eBay than I do on Poshmark because it's basically almost automated at this point. Hi everybody, it's Nina, Beachfront Bargains. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm an online reseller on eBay, Poshmark, and Amazon FBA. So today's video is long overdue. I've been saying I'm gonna do this video for months now, so sorry, but I'm doing this video now. Today is going to be how to get started on eBay as a Poshmark seller. So just the basic fundamentals of eBay that I think are a little different than Poshmark, the things I didn't know when I started eBay, and the things that just make eBay intimidating, I would say, to most people that sell on Poshmark. So I love eBay. I love eBay so much. It's intimidating at first, but if you can fully utilize all the tools that eBay has, it's such an easy platform to use. So my goal with this is just to go over some of the basics of eBay to help you understand it a little bit more. So I did start as a Poshmark seller, and then about 6 months into being on Poshmark, I started using eBay. Now I consistently sell more on eBay. So something to keep in mind is that eBay has 100 something, don't quote me, million users. Poshmark has nowhere near that. Another great thing is that eBay has international buyers. I routinely sell stuff to people across the world. So those are just a couple of reasons why I think it's a good platform for anyone who sells on Poshmark to also sell on eBay. So the first thing I want to go through is the type of listings you can do on eBay. And I think this is something that is very confusing when you're new. When people say eBay, I think they think about auctions. That's what eBay was primarily known for when it first started, but eBay can function exactly the same as Poshmark. You can do buy it now, or bin, you'll see, like BIN, in all caps people call it. And that's the same exact thing where you list it at a price, and then you can allow offers on that item. You don't have to allow offers, but you list it as a price just like you would on Poshmark, no different. This is what I do for the majority of my listings, buy it now with a price. And offers, you can actually set up criteria to auto accept if it's above a certain amount, or auto decline offers if they're below a certain amount. So that's a neat feature. The other type of eBay listing you can do is an auction. I don't do a whole lot of auctions. I use them for a couple of reasons. One, I don't know the value of the item, but I think it has high value. So I just set it as an auction at a good amount and then just watch it go up. That's always fun. The other is it's just junk I'm trying to get rid of. So I just put it to auction and let it go. A tip on auctions, if you are going to use them, is keep in mind when you're starting that auction is when it's going to stop. So if you start it at 2 a.m., it's going to end at 2 a.m. You can't expect people to be up bidding at 2 a.m. The best time to do an auction, and I can't remember where I got this tip, but it's from Instagram. So if it was you, sorry, I cannot remember where I got this tip. Thursday at 8 p.m., do a 10-day auction. That will go through 2 weekends and end on a Sunday at 8 p.m. That is the best time to do an auction. If you don't want to do a 10-day auction, do a shorter auction, but make sure you keep it a good time. The evening is the best time to end auctions because people are usually home. All right, so the second thing that I think is super different about eBay when you're coming from being a Poshmark seller is fees. So there are 3 major things you need to know when it comes to fees on eBay: insertion fees, final value fees, and PayPal fees. And I'll go through each of these individually. So the first one is insertion fees. And I'm not going to go through if you have an eBay store or anything like that. That could be a whole separate video on the benefits of having an eBay store. I do have one, but I'm just going to keep this as if you have no store at all, what your fees would be. So the insertion fee is a fee charged basically just for listing the item on eBay. This fee is charged regardless if the item sells or not. So keep that in mind. It's just for listing it. You get 50 free insertion fees a month. So 50 free listings a month. And then after that, it's 35 cents a listing. So that's the basics of the insertion fee. It's regardless if the item sells or not. The second fee is the final value fee, and this only goes through if the item sells, and this is 10%. If you do not have a store or if you're not rated, if you have certain ratings, this goes down. But again, we're just pretending like you're brand new to eBay, right? That's 10%, and then the final fee is PayPal. And that can be estimated around 3%. PayPal does it a weird way. It's like 2.9% plus 30 cents. I don't know why they do that, but let's just say it's 3%. So you can estimate about 13% for final value fees and PayPal fees, and then 0 per listing for the first 50, and then 35 cents per listing for anything over 50 a month if you do not have a store. If you're listing more than that, you should definitely look into getting an eBay store. It helps a lot. So those are the fees. I swear it's not that complicated. Something else that's different about it is when you sell something on Poshmark, the fees are taken out of the price, right? So you don't get the extra money. On eBay, you get an invoice once a month and you have to pay everything through that. So that's the main difference. On Poshmark, you see the fees right away. On eBay, you get that invoice once a month. So keep that in mind, that all the money that's going into your PayPal account is not all yours to take home. You have to pay fees through that. Okay, the third thing about eBay that is way different than Poshmark is shipping. This was hands down the most intimidating aspect of eBay to me. Was shipping. The first time I did it, I was like, there's no way I did that right. Because on Poshmark, it's just easy. Everything goes in a priority mail packaging up to 5 pounds. They give you the label, boom, boom, boom. It's easy. On eBay, it's a little different. So I'm going to go through the things you need and the different ways to ship on eBay. So first off, on eBay, it's very important that you have a scale because anything under 1 pound is going to be priced based on the weight of the item. So I have some props for this one. I have our scale here. It's a little dirty. It's just an Accutech scale. This is linked to my Amazon favorites, but it's not very expensive and it works really well. I've had it forever. So you need a scale because if it's under 1 pound, you're going to need to know the weight, or if it's going priority mail, you're going to need to know the weight. So if it is under 1 pound, which a lot of items are, for example, most tops, a lot of dresses, even some shoes are under 1 pound. So there's a lot of items that are under 1 pound. Most of my items are, I would say. It has to go in a poly mailer. You can get these on Amazon. These are the ones we have right now. There's like tropical printed, whatever. But you can get any, you can get blank ones, anything. You can get these on Amazon or you can get them on eBay. So that's first class mail, and that is based on the location the item's going, the distance from where you're sending it, and the weight of the item. These vary from sometimes under $3 to $6 an item. So that's shipping first class, and that's under 1 pound. The next option, the next cheapest option most of the time is going to be priority mail flat rate envelope. You should be familiar with these if you sell on Poshmark. It just looks like this. It's a little flat rate padded envelope. The rule with eBay is if it fits, it ships. So if it fits in this, it does not matter how much it weighs. The things we have stuffed in these envelopes, a lot. Sometimes like bigger jeans get really difficult to fit in here. Coats, shoes, anything that fits in here, I will ship it in this. And that is $6.95 to ship in one of these. And then your next option is just a priority mail box. And this will be based on weight again, so you'd have to use your scale. I have here the shoe box, which is one of my favorites to use for shoes. And this again is based on weight. This could range from $7 to like $15 depending on how heavy the item is that you're shipping. I don't ship a lot in these because I don't sell a lot of shoes, but shoes and handbags would go in some kind of box like this. Another thing to keep in mind with shipping is you have the option of buyer paid shipping or free shipping. I do free shipping and I just kind of up my price a little bit, but I know plenty of people are successful with doing buyer paid shipping. But just keep in mind for lower weight items, it's going to be like $3 to $6 to ship. For items that can fit in a padded flat, it's going to be $6.95. And then for bigger, heavier items, it's going to be between $7 to $15 plus to ship the item. So just keep that in mind with whatever you're doing, free or buyer paid shipping. Something to note with shipping also is returns. You do not have to allow returns on eBay. That is completely up to you. When I first started, I did not allow returns. I do allow free returns now, but I think that's just something I built into my store over time. But do not feel like you need to do that when you start. If you want to, go for it, but you're not obligated to do that ever, especially when you're starting on eBay. So the next thing I want to talk about is kind of like limitations or the rules eBay has when you first start. So when you first start on Poshmark, you can list all the items you want. When you first start on eBay, you're going to be limited to the number of items you can list and limited to the dollar amount of items you can list. Another thing I had when I first started was a limitation on certain brands, like certain what they considered high-end brands, which were not high-end brands. Like it would be like Lauren, Ralph Lauren. I can only list like so many of those a month or have so many listed at a time. So just something to keep in mind that you have to build your reputation, I would say, on eBay when you first start before eBay lets you list more. So it's a slow process. A quick way to kind of build and sell more, because it's based on what you're selling, is to throw some auctions up there of items that you have sitting in your Poshmark closet that you just want to get rid of. My first couple of sales on eBay were auctions of just trying to get rid of some items. So something else to keep in mind on eBay is your feedback score. This is a number in parentheses next to your name. I'll put a picture of what it looks like. This is the feedback you have received as a buyer or a seller. This is important because it makes buyers trust you more when you have more feedback. Easy ways to get feedback are buy things, because you can get feedback as a buyer, sell some things on auction. Those are just a couple ways to make some quick sales so you can get feedback as well. And that will help you get some sales in the beginning, because people tend not to want to buy from someone with no feedback or low feedback. The last thing I want to mention about eBay, I always get a lot of DMs about this, a lot of questions about this, is scams. So when you're new to eBay, people are going to prey on you because they are assuming that you don't know how eBay works. And this is similar to when you start on Poshmark. I don't know if you guys remember this one, but it's like when you post a listing, the person will comment and they'll be like, email me at this email address. I really want to purchase this. Or here's my phone number. Please contact me. I would like to purchase this off of Poshmark. I'll PayPal you. That same type of scam. One of the biggest scams that happens on eBay is someone will, let's say you have an item listed for 50 bucks. They'll offer you 100. This happened to me, I think, a couple times when I first started, and I was like, hell yeah. I don't know why they want to pay more than listing price, but I'm here for it. And then what they'll do is they'll contact you and ask for your email address, and then they'll send you kind of a fake email. It looks like it's PayPal saying you've been paid. So then you ship the item, but they have never paid for the item. That's a super, super popular scam on eBay for new sellers. So just a couple of things. Payment should always go through PayPal and through eBay. eBay will notify you that the item has been paid. There's no reason you ever have to give anyone your email address, phone number, your PayPal email address. You don't have to give them anything. It all goes through eBay. Also, I've never had someone buy something for more than the asking price. Ever. So that's a scam. That is a scam right away. Another thing to look out for is, do they have any feedback? If they have no feedback, I'm not saying everyone with no feedback is bad. They're not. They could just be new. But if they have no feedback and they're doing sketchy stuff it's probably a scam. So just keep that in mind. eBay does do a good job, I think, of protecting its sellers from these scams. Everything needs to go through eBay. If it doesn't, it's just like Poshmark. Everything has to go through Poshmark. If it doesn't, it's a scam. The other scam that I hear a lot of people talk about is like fraudulent returns. Like someone will return an item and then not actually return the item. That's a good one. I've never had that happen to me. I have had items returned damaged like once or twice, but I've also had that happen on Poshmark, so I don't think that's any different. I think sketchy returns are just name of the game a little bit with any type of reselling business. I don't think that's eBay specific. I think the only one on eBay is that PayPal scam that people will go for. But just keep in mind that all transactions should go through eBay and you'll be fine. So that is the 5 things that I think are super different from Poshmark. Hopefully this helps you guys. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I plan on doing another video, like a follow-up to this, like an intermediate eBay video as well. And I also plan on doing a video with tips and tricks on how we utilize eBay for efficiency in our listing process. Because if you know how to use eBay right, it's a beast of a tool. Like I list items so much faster on eBay than I do on Poshmark because it's basically almost automated at this point with how I do my listing process. So more eBay videos to come, as I promised months ago now, I think, but stay tuned for that. So again, any comments or questions about eBay, feel free to leave them down below. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.